Well, the button collectors have arrived in Madison.
More than 400 of them from around the country and around the world are meeting at the Madison Marriott West for the greatest button show on earth.
It's presented by the National Button Society, and Raney Gilliland is the past president of the National Button Society. Welcome to Madison. Welcome to Live at 4.
Hi, Raney. Welcome.
Well, thank you. Welcome to you to the greatest button show on earth.
And what makes it the greatest button show on earth?
This is an annual convention that the National Button Society has, and as you indicated, there are dealers and individuals from around the world here with buttons on display and buttons for sale, and many educational opportunities to learn about buttons.
Tell us a little bit about, give us the wide course on buttons. Some of them are real treasures, aren't they? They're true antiques. There's a little bit of everything, I would imagine, there.
There's every material that you can imagine that has been made into a button over time. As I've indicated previously to various people over the years, the real renaissance of buttons began in the 1700s, but there are buttons that date much older than that. Not very many of them, but that was when the real button renaissance began, primarily in Europe, but also in North America.
Can you show us some buttons you have there, just so people can get an idea of the variety?
Sure. Let's go over here and have a look. You bet. Come over here.
What got you started in button collecting?
Well, actually, I married button collecting.
That'll do it.
Was a collector beginning in about 1963. And so, for example, here is a pearl coach button from the 1800s that is for sale from one of our most dedicated and long-term button dealers, Millicent Safro from New York City, New York. And here are some brass Jacksonian buttons from the 1840s. They're Jacksonian because they were manufactured in the period of Andrew Jackson.
Wow. Raney, how much are buttons like that worth?
Well, it varies on which one it is, actually, Susan, because each one is different, and each one was manufactured in a different number. So some of them can, in these, for example, can be in the $200 to $400 range each. But there are some that are much less expensive than that.
I'm sure there's some that are priceless.
Just depends upon how many of each one were made.
And it's not.
They can be very expensive, or they can be very cheap.
I was going to say, it's not necessarily the monetary value that makes them valuable. It's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, the joy they bring.
That's right, and it's the history of the buttons as well. Here's another dealer from Florida. Some buttons that are obviously very glitzy and very early pace on silver. Often they came in sets like this. Obviously, this is a dragon. Here's a Satsuma, which is a ceramic from Japan.
That is beautiful.
And this is a Bakelite. This is a Bakelite button. Believe it or not, some of them are very, very large if they were on coats or cloaks, for example.
Beautiful stuff. All right, Raney, thank you. And we want to tell...
And then down...
We're just about out of time. Show us one more.
Down here, just quickly, we have what we call pokes. And so people come and pick up one individual button at a time, and it can take hours and hours to go through a poke box. But you might find a great treasure here.
Well, Raney, enjoy your stay in...
And I do want to say that... the show is open to the public, and so we do welcome new visitors and new members.
Absolutely. We're going to put that on the screen right now. Raney, thank you for your time. The show is at the Marriott West in Middleton, and it's today and tomorrow from 10 to 5, and Saturday 10 to 4. There is a $5 entrance fee. Go to the nationalbuttonsociety.org for more information about all of this.
That's very cool. I'd like to check that out. I mean, you might look at, boxes of buttons in your own house. You might have some little treasures in there.
And probably no zippers to be found anywhere.
Right.